Okay, I'm outside of my dorm, so I'm just gonna get this thing started. I have some footnotes. Just wrote a couple things down to make myself remember. So we're going over the question of what determines the self. Very, very deep, very psychological question, very philosophical question, everything about it. Rene Descarte, or however you pronounce his last name, very esteemed philosopher, thought very deeply, and I appreciate him about this because it's a good question. He actually thought about it, unlike Fady Joudah. I'll get to him later. Rene Descartes said in all that writing that he was going to break himself down, all his beliefs and everything that had the smidgen of doubt in it. If there could be any type of doubt that something was wrong, or that he could be influenced poorly, or what he was seeing wasn't real. You know, your senses can be fooled, so he couldn't believe in those. He couldn't tell if he was awake or if he was asleep because it could be a demon playing a trick on him. So he had to get rid of believing in all of that. And in breaking all of that down, and all those words, unnecessary amount of words, but, you know, I guess it was hundreds of years ago, he broke it down to a thing that thinks. And it's interesting, you know, when I first started thinking about it, a thing that thinks, like, this sounds like a childish answer, because that just, like, seems like some bullshit you could just get away with just, like, putting down. But in what he's trying to do, though, that is exactly what he was trying to achieve. He has achieved, like, the purest form of his belief of, like, what he is. And all he is a thing that thinks. And he said he's a thing that thinks, and, like, what that means. What in the hell? Okay. Oh, okay. Back on track. He said that in being a thing that thinks, it doesn't mean that he has to, like, know everything or be some sort of, like, exhibit, like, of a person. He said even, like, doubting or understanding or, like, not knowing, because if you can, like, not know something, that means you're thinking that you don't know something, you know? So doubting, understanding, affirming, denying, you know, it's all things that you think. He's a thing that thinks. It's something you think, you know, it's broken down. It's English at that point. Everything else could be fake. We already touched on this. His senses might not be real. Does everybody have to park in the middle of the road? His senses might not be real. His body might not be real. He might not even be awake. But the one thing he does know is that he knows that he can think, you know? He thinks that he can think. So, mind-body separation. Yeah, he was saying that, like, broken down in his purest form, he's not just, like, a person. Like, you don't have to be a person. Because, like, in what he said, he's a thing that thinks. I gotta put my hand in my pocket. It is freezing. He's a thing that thinks. So, he's not actually a person. He's... Also, we're behind the library right now, if you're wondering. Thing that thinks. So he's not a person that thinks. You don't have to be a person. You just have to be a thing. So anything that thinks should exist. But technically, you can only know that you exist because you're the only one that you can think. Like, I don't know how to word it. Or at least how I think about it. I don't know how to word it. Like, holy, like, I don't know how to word it. Because you only know that you're thinking. You don't know if anyone else, like, you only know about yourself. And that differs from Fady, whatever his last name is, Joudah, which I'll talk about in a second. But he's saying that you don't have to have, like, an actual being to exist. Because technically, like, it requires no action to think. And like anything he was doubting, like dreaming or being awake, you can still do both when you're like asleep and awake. You can still think, because dreams, even if they're fake, are proof that you were thinking, right? Because even if it's in your mind, you're still thinking of it because it's in your mind. So having a body, it's like an extension of you. It allows you to like manipulate reality in like a very limited physical sense, you know, like it allows you to experience, though, even if you know nothing is real. It allows you to experience, which in those experiences allows you to think more, in my opinion. Like, you would think so. That you'd think, I am walking in the middle of the road. You would think that you think more because of dreaming and everything. What was I talking about? Back on track. Okay. Yeah. So, on to this guy. I don't like him. Fady Joudah. His arguments make no sense. And it's one of those things that, like, I don't know if you ever, like, play fought with your siblings or, like, your cousins as a kid. But, like, you'd always, like, want to be the one that won, right? So you would always say, like, throws, like, an undodgeable punch or something. Unblockable punch. Right? And you're like, oh, I've won it. I've used my ultimate move. And then they just say, like, blocks it. And you're like, well, no, you can't just block it. Like, that doesn't make sense. And they're like, well, I did. So in his, I wrote disgrace-ish, okay? Without others, there is no self. So complete counter to what Rene Descarte said was that you only know that you exist. That's really all you can be certain of. He's saying that you only know, or Fady Joudah is saying you only know you exist because other people exist, and through those relationships you have with other people, you know you exist. So I guess, like, it makes sense, right? Like, I heard somewhere, someone said, like, I am a mosaic of every person I've ever met. Right? Like, because everything we learn from people, we, like, it doesn't have to be, like, your everyday, like, random person you talk to when you're working, right? Because, like, I don't care about those people. But if I'm, like, with my family, like, I'll pick up, like, things they do. Like, when I go home, not home, but, like, back to my grandparents' house, being around people up in Jackson County, like, they all have, like, a really, like, southern hick accent, and I'll, like, pick it back up. So I'll start talking southern again. So, like, you wouldn't think that I'm southern, but I am. I own cows. Fun fact. Yeah. So his like whole argument is, I know I exist because I know something else is not me. Yeah. Like, is that not, like, common knowledge? Like, his whole argument is, like, how, like, old philosophers, especially, like, Sun Tzu, like, they could just, like, say some shit, and then because they were the first person to ever say it, like, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago, that they just become, like, oh, Sun Tzu, wise-ass general. If you outnumber your enemy, strike first. Of course, Sun Tzu. Like, that's, like, common jumping people tactics. So he's on the same mindset there. He's just, like, trying to philosophize. He just says something first. Identity formed through relationships and how we differ from those around us. I guess, yes, you are formed by, like, who you meet and who you talk to. But how we differ from those around us, we get it, bro. You drive a BMW. And now you're driving in the bus lane. Netanyahu, get this guy pulled over by the cop that parks up here. Please. Nah, don't know. what did he say? Like, at the very end, I can't remember what it was, but he takes out all, like, the self words, like, that, like, the noun, or the subject to a predicate, almost. It's like walking through the grass, or raining, healing grass, I think I remember. It just, first of all, we get it. Like, that's ball knowledge, I guess, like, doing something like that. Everybody's like, yo, that's tapped, but, like, also, there's no need. You got the point when you literally wrote in there, like, there is no self without others. We get it. And then you take out the self, and you're like, look what it looks like when there's no self. And to me, it, like, Descartes' argument is just so much better, right? Because Fady Joudah, right, has not broken down his entire argument, right, when it comes to, like, his poem, whatever. I don't know, I don't think it rhymed. Descartes literally broke himself